I get it. I talk straight. Okay, today we learned a very challenging subject, and the concept of Lashon Hara Teyeles is something that has to be defined. There's no heta to talk Lashon Hara to gain. If someone gives you $1,000, you can't talk Lashon Hara and say Lashon Hara Teyeles. Lashon Hara Teyeles means if your point is not to hurt someone, but to help someone. If there's a roidif and a nirdif, if someone that's making trouble, you're allowed to save the nirdif from the roidif. It's probably inaccurate to call Lashon Hara Teyeles. It's really Teyeles, Lashon Tov, but it's not Lashon Tov, so you can't go Lashon Tov Teyeles. But it's basically the key of the mitzvah of Leisamer Adam Reyecha that justifies talking negative to save someone else. It's not hutra, it's not hutcha, it's something that if all the preconditions are met, it's a chiyuv, it's a mitzvah. If it's missing any of the preconditions, then it's taka the issa of Lashon Hara. Basically, the preconditions are reduced into one word, emes. The aleph stands for emes. It's not just a rumor. It's not just an opinion. It's a fact. And you're not exaggerating. You're not adding an extra word. The mem of emes is mazik. You can't cause the other person more damage than he deserves, because then he's the nizik, and then you're not diba teyeles. So then there's no heta because it doesn't end up being diba teyeles. And the last group of preconditions is the word teyeles. The saf of emes is teyeles. First of all, go straight to the person without going to someone else. Go straight to the person and say, you have to correct what you're doing. This way you could avoid talking and the same teyeles. If the person won't listen to you, it's too late to change what he wants to do, whether it's a shidduch or hiring. It says, weiter no teyeles. If you could tell him, don't make the shidduch or don't hire the work without saying information, that's also avoiding Lashon Hara, and there's no teyeles. But the most challenging is you have to have kavanah la teyeles, and as we explained, every mitzvah there's a ma'isa mitzvah, and kavanah is a plus or ma'akiv, but at least it's a ma'isa mitzvah. Here there is no ma'isa mitzvah, it's a ma'isa aveira. The kavanah makes it into a ma'isa mitzvah. Without kavanah, it remains regular Lashon Hara. So basically, dibur of mazik, Lashon Hara has a cheskas issa until you know that it's kavana l'shem shemayim with all the preconditions. Even the kavana l'shem shemayim is not a heta, as we learned from Miriam. If someone asks you information about a yeshiva, about a camp, about a shidduch, about anything, if you know the information, give it. It's very painful that people don't give necessary information. People can't make shidduchim, or people make wrong shidduchim because people don't give information. Learn the halachas and respond accordingly. Those that learn the Sefer Chavetz Chaim are the best source of information. You should know, Rav Pam Zechariah Levracha was a wonderful source of information. Rav Segel, the two people that were the Mustav Shmiras Haloshon, knew how to talk and when to talk and talked. So learn it and do what you have to do. Safek Teyeles is muta because it's dibur l'shem Teyeles. Whatever is muta, make sure you tell the person why you're asking, and he shouldn't get back to the person what you said. So this makes it easier to give over information. If someone asks you, what do you say about someone? You have to ask him, is it teyeles? Otherwise you're not allowed to answer. And when you ask information, you have to say, I am asking for a purpose. If you see that a child, a talmid, or a friend has a bad influence, not only you have to say something, but if need be, you have to actually amplify the problem, blow it out of proportion, but make sure that friendship will not continue. If you have criticism about a newspaper article that has a bad hashkafa, by all means you're allowed to say what's necessary to prevent any future hezek. Someone asks you, what do you say about my bargain? And it's not a bargain, so kalanov chasuda. If it's no longer negeya, there's no te'eles, don't say anything, you're not allowed to say, because there is no te'eles. If you have to give up information, don't do it in front of a family or co-workers or anybody who is not negeya. For them, hearing it is not a te'eles. A child, a talmid, or at home that has an outbreak, barabim, even though we are very careful not to give musa barabim, but this is an exceptional situation that the damage was done barabim, and the Rebbe or the parent has to recapture the authority or the hashkafa that was destroyed, And whatever's needed, the parent or the Rebbe has to react accordingly. Of course, try to explain the Talmidim and the Talmud who did the wrong, why this was done. It's always better to explain, because the children are not mature enough to understand what your cheshbon is. So once you explain it, it's justified even if it's done b'rabim. If you see someone is sliding, try to speak to him directly, but if he's not listening, go to the Rebbe, go to the Rav, go to his parents if need be. It's not snitching, it's helping. Someone has bad ashkafas, other people should be told not to listen to him or read his svarim, whatever it may be, if it's still negeya. Stam, past history is not a justification. You have to be mechavel tayelas, and therefore don't ask someone who has had a previous run-in, don't ask a soiner, don't ask an ex-spouse, or an ex-boss, an ex-worker. Especially if one himself is a victim, he shouldn't be the one that's passing on the information. And as we explained, the kavana is what defines if it's a mitzvah or not. Like kanoyim poigim boy, kavana defines mitzvah or ritzicha. Here it's kavana that defines if it's a heta or an issa. And as we said, a human emotion, ein adam roya choyvel atzmai, even the Torah is chacham, tzaddik, and pikeach, cannot see beyond his own bias. So when it's not surprising that we say if someone has his own interest, he can't give information. Not because he's a bad person, he's a person. And that's human emotion. And therefore ask the right person. And basically, as we said, the Ner l'ragleinu has to be v'chidilter ani. I don't talk lashon hara unless it's a mitzvah. And if someone asks you anything that you shouldn't answer, tell them we don't talk about people, and that will hopefully bring us the geula. For the opportunity.